Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old, to history, to anecdotes, to really wherever our whims take us. Strap in, because Lois Lane is getting married. But today's marriage, well, it's extra special. No, not because Superman is the best man, that's expected, but because this marriage is going to a different era in comic book history. We're gonna get to see a very different Lois and Clark. Comics have different ages, and the tones of writing are very different when it comes to each. This marriage we're about to take a look at is earlier than most, taking place in 1948, meaning the golden age of comics. Pre-Comics Code Authority, which arises at the start of the Silver Age. We did a video way back about the dawn of the Silver Age, so check that out if you missed it, card and link. I always talk about the number the CCA, that's the Comics Code Authority, did on Lois Lane. Its morality policing and fear of unduly influencing on what they viewed as malleable audience really takes a toll on some of the storytelling and characters. Largely for the worse. So far, all of the Lois Lane marriages we've taken a look at have fallen inside of that era, the Silver Age. We haven't even gotten into the Bronze Age yet. We will though. Today we're gonna get a look at a different Lois Lane. A Lois who is marrying Mr. Mxyzptlk. Mxyzptlk. The last time I did a video involving this imp from the fifth dimension, I was given two different pronunciations for his name after I said that I could not pronounce it. And they were completely different. I'm aware that these two pronunciations are out there, but you know what? Life is too short for those kind of struggles. He's Mr. Mixie now. You know you want to see just how this managed to come about, so stay tuned. But before we get started, I'm Sasha, and if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Join us on this comic book journey. This marriage comes to us from Superman number 51, written by Alvin Schwartz, with art by Win Mortimer. The cover is perplexing. It's Superman hopping up and down in pain because Lois dropped a hot muffin on his foot. Going for the confusion sale, I see. A muffin is no match for the Man of Steel. Quick, take my 10 cents. Look at her heels. I need them. Do you like how I'm getting closer and closer to being Titan Man with each video? It's slowly but surely happening. Yes, I will be as fabulous as Titan Man. Our opening panel has very little on it writing-wise, but the tableau is very effective. We have Superman seemingly officiating the union of a despondent Lois Lane to a cartoonish as ever Mixie. That man in the back is a very young Perry White. I'm telling you, because when I first read this, I was like, who is that? Who else got an invite? Not me. Perry was young once. It's comforting to see that not everyone is affected by the gravitational well that is sliding timescales. Poor Perry, he doesn't get shifting timeline immunity. Everyone around him stays the same age or gets younger, and he just keeps getting older. Some marry for love, others marry for money. But who is it that marries in order not to marry? Read how Superman becomes best man to his worst foe. Listen, Superman can't turn down being best man to any wedding. If he does, he turns into a pumpkin. It's been a long time since they've played any of the imp characters up as a threat, be that taking a comedic tone or a serious tone. It's weird to see him described as Superman's worst foe, perhaps his most annoying, with the potential to be the worst when he decides to apply himself to the side of evil. So in 1948, the fifth dimension was a monarchy, and the king of this dimension is looking for someone to wed his daughter, but she's ugly. The horror, the horror. The princess wants to marry Mixie, even though he has a reputation for being a bit of a scoundrel, a scallywag, a charlatan, also a fortune hunter. The king decides it's not like she has any solid prospects, so why not? Gee, thanks, Dad. My boy, brace yourself. This is a great day for you. You're to marry the princess, my daughter.
No thanks, Your Majesty. I'm not worthy.
Mixie tries to get out of marrying this unfortunate looking princess by saying that he's already engaged. But the king says he already knows about all the engagements in the realm, so stop lying. Why are you always lying? So that means that our little imp has to think on his feet.
Oh, I know. It happened on my last trip to Metropolis. She's wonderful, absolutely out of this dimension. Her name is Lois Lane.
I have to tip my hat to that out of this dimension joke. It was subtle. Well played, 1948. I also like that he picks Lois not because he's madly in love with her, but because of the whole how many other women has he encountered factor. He's like, who's a woman that I know? Lois. It's a nice change of pace from the contemplation room setup. The king gives him 1 week to produce his bride, or he has to marry the princess and become heir to the throne of the fifth dimension. Oh no, the struggle. This time period, and actually for a long time after, had a big problem with people being ugly. Some would say that it's still going on. Vain, vanity everywhere. No wonder Lois puts handsome first whenever she's describing her ideal marriage partner in the Silver Age. Handsome. Okay, get ready to meet 40s Lois. So you've scooped me again. Just because you have Superman helping you.
Nonsense! I'm obviously a better reporter than you.
Oh my god, the two of them having banter and a conversation about work and not a relationship or how she needs to get married stat. Oh god. Without the status quo being reinforced, I think I'm turning into some kind of juvenile delinquent or deviant. Send help! Ask her to marry you, Clark! I'm confused! I think we need some kind of code. Preferably one that makes me want to go back to the kitchen. Pregnant if possible. Mr. Mxyzptlk arrives and both Lois and Clark have the same reaction. Ugh. And get ready for the key difference between 40s Lois and 50s and 60s Lois.
All you have to do is marry me.
Marry you? Post-code Lois never met a proposal that she didn't like. Pre-code Lois was interested in her career, and also Superman. But there was a loyalty there to him, and also to her work being fulfilled. This Lois is disturbed when Mxy starts trying to shower her with jewels and furs and also oil. Clark dips out pretending to be a coward so that he can come back and assess the situation as Superman.
Lois, marry you? Go find an orangutan.
Look at that spelling. A hyphen on orangutan. It was a different time.
That's more your type.
Lois, however, has been hatching a scheme of her own. Not just waiting for Superman to fix everything. She'll marry Mxy under one condition. You'll have to prove that you're a better reporter than I am. Look at that, her condition involved her job, something that she takes great pride in. It had nothing to do with Superman or like prove you're better than him or have more powers than him or something like that. No, this is about her. She also refuses to kiss him. This Lois has self-esteem and a backbone. And a great hat. Superman is impressed with Lois for a couple of reasons here. One, because she's trying to get Mxy off her back, but two, by doing this he'll have to help her get some impressive scoops, which will also bolster her reputation as a reporter. So she's kind of trying to kill two birds with one stone. She goes to Perry to get some hard assignments. First, an interview with a recluse. I'm off to interview Seymour Salmon, so do you help me or do I have to marry Mxyzptlk?
It's blackmail, but let's go.
The dynamic is just so different. I can't get over it. Here's where Lois's plan starts to fall apart though. Mxy has powers because he's from the 5th dimension, and he doesn't have any trouble getting into a castle to see a recluse, and he beats her to the story. Was sitting on his lap part of what you needed to do to get the interview? Is that required, or is he just doing that? If it was required, maybe it's a good thing Lois didn't get this interview. He also beats her to the scientists are sending up a new rocket story. Really, Perry? Reclusive millionaire was first before rocket launch? Just always wanted to run a tabloid, didn't you? Superman is starting to get worried that Lois is actually gonna lose this wager, which was a 3 scoops and you're out type of deal. So he goes to Perry to try and come up with an assignment that only Lois will be able to do, regardless of the imp's powers. And together they come up with who can get an exclusive interview with Superman and get him to answer 3 questions, which would be the ultimate story. Better than the millionaire, or the rocket, apparently. Why, there you are. How about an interview, Superman? But Mxyzptlk isn't down for the count, not yet. He tries to interrupt Lois's interview by causing trouble, like drowning a street in hot sauce. Superman catches him in the giant jar he was using to pour, and while there...
Super, don't you get tired of rescuing me?
I certainly do, you little imp.
Well, why don't you like me, Super?
Abbreviating Superman's name to just Super. I can't get behind it. Soupy. We need to use Soupy. The Joker's good at nicknames.
My goodness, where do you get your strength? From eating atom bombs, pest. Anything else?
Well, look who done got tricked. That was 3 questions, which means that he's won the wager. And the prize? Lois. Lois doesn't take the news that Superman got tricked well. You betrayed me. Never speak to me again. It sure was nice of Superman to go with that slap, rather than just letting his face shatter all the bones in her hand. Superman is desperate for a solution. He knows that he can vanquish the imp by making him say his name backwards, but he's done that so many times that he has to come up with a really creative way to make him do it. The day of the wedding comes, and Lois is beside herself. And my word, Superman is actually upset to see her marrying someone else. People are actually upset about this wedding. I don't know what to do with myself. But of course, before Superman can do anything, he has to wait for the "does anybody have a reason why these two should not be wed" line. You know Clark, he's not gonna pass up any chance to be a drama queen, and a Lois marriage is the perfect time. I object!
Stop the wedding! That man's an imposter! His name's not Mxyzptlk, it's Cliptixism.
Mxy, for some reason, instead of just going, no it's not, decides to respond with, no, my name's not that, it's this. And of course, that means he said it backwards and he's sent back to the 5th dimension. And he's already dressed for his wedding. Hooray! He can go straight to the princess. There is one odd line in the last panel where Lois asks for forgiveness. I'm trying to figure out why. Is it for involving him in the wager? Is it for nearly getting married because of 5th dimension shenanigans? I don't know.
Don't mention it. I've never been so happy to see anyone left at the altar.
Look at Perry working up a sweat in the back. He's gonna go back to work and put this on the front page. The end. Now this story is not perfect at all and has tons of outdated tropes in it. Like the, haha, I'll laugh at the ugly girl wanting love. What does she think she is, a person? But the contrast between this Lois and the Lois in the beginning years of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane is amazing to behold. The whole tone tone of this story is just different. This one is making an effort to be clever, like with how Mix tricks Superman or how Lois tries to outwit him and come out on top in her career. Take that, Clark. This story treated the marriage to someone that she didn't want as something bad and made her have a lot of active feelings about it and try to do something about it, not just save Miss Superman. Even if it did still have the, oh well, someone asked and she did promise, the conditions were met, so the inevitable, get the dress. Lois here isn't marriage crazy or man crazy. Not that wanting either of those things is inherently bad, but they're done in the Silver Age to the detriment of her character. So this story feels more balanced and the characters still feel like people and less like caricatures as a result. So you can give a story like this a bit more weight than say the Astounding Man story, even though they both have silly premises. On the flip side, there is a bit of a lack of enjoyment at the sheer madness that is not there. Just the we're going for it kind of energy that permeates the Silver Age. For me, it's the best of both worlds. Lois Lane getting married plot and an examination of how tropes and characters change, evolving or devolving based on the social cultural landscape of the time. This still happens. Of course it does. It's ongoing. And with a medium as long-lived as comics, you really get to see it play out. It's fascinating, and Lois is a good character to watch it happen with. What did you think of this golden age Lois getting married story? Can you feel the difference between the two eras? Share all your thoughts down below. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time every day to spend it discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye!